It's a historic day for Maharashtra. A new Chief Minister has taken oath, and one which no one could predict even till a couple of weeks ago. Uddhav Thackeray is the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and he has been sworn in today. Along with him, 6 other ministers were sworn in, 2 from each party, 2 from the Shiv Sena, 2 from the NCP and 2 from the Congress. The swearing-in ceremony took place in Shivaji Park in Dadar, a location which has historic significance, especially for the Thackerays and for Shiv Sena, because it's the venue where Bal Thackeray used to give his iconic speeches. Around 80,000 people are believed to have attended this ceremony. Importantly, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi skipped the swearing-in ceremony, though they did write letters of their support to Uddhav Thackeray. The combination of 3 parties is what is important to watch. This government is headed by Uddhav Thackeray, but it has near equal partnership by the NCP and a very crucial role being played by the Congress party to actually keep its numbers intact. And ahead of the swearing-in ceremony, a common minimum program was released today, which includes promises like an immediate loan waiver for farmers, revised crop insurance schemes, 500 square foot carpet area tenements to slum dwellers, which will be given free, among other things. So will the new Maharashtra government be able to fulfill the aspirations of the people of the state? That honestly is the biggest question this evening that we are addressing. And joining me to talk about this today are CL Manoj, Senior Editor at the Economic Times, Madhavan Narayanan, a Senior Journalist, Smita Gupta, Senior Fellow at the Hindu Center for Politics and Public Policy, Shana NC of the BJP, and of course Shishir Joshi here in the Mumbai studios with us. Welcome to all of you and thank you for speaking with us today. Let me begin, Shishir, by, the biggest question today on the common minimum program is which direction this government is likely to head in. Are we likely to see a departure from what is traditionally called development, more focus on pro-poor schemes, pro-farmer schemes? And is that really the need of the hour right now?
I think somewhere I believe that things will move forward, because the common minimum program, apart from whatever these parties have agreed upon, would be not to let the BJP come back to power. And whatever it takes to ensure that programs run, because there's a lot at stake for everyone. There's a lot at stake for NCP, of course, Sharad Pawar, the Congress, they've managed to come back into the reckoning. The Shiv Sena has to prove its might, and there's the BMC elections around the corner. So the BMC is a very city issue and the farmers' concerns are a state issue, and they'd like to prove it that they can make things happen. So also personalities matter at this stage. So it's not a Raj Thackeray, it's a Uddhav Thackeray. So Uddhav Thackeray is known to be a far more accommodating, milder person in terms of space. Please do remember that he does not have governance experience, and that's something which he understands. Being a chief minister and being a political party head are 2 different things. So once he's there in the seat, he'll rely a lot on Sharad Pawar for decision making, because his own party may not give him.
But on the governance experience point of that level, Yogi Adityanath, Devendra Fadnavis, political experience, but to this extent of governance experience.
Yeah.
It comes with the position, I guess. You're thrown into it, and he has Sharad Pawar and Congress sort of looking at
which is what next. He has Sharad Pawar, which is you can't get a better political mentor at this point to run it, and you have a vision that I don't want that party to come back to power. So there are 2 very strong needs, and it's my own party survival as well, because everybody had almost written off from whatever political maneuvering was going on to say, is Shiv Sena really going to come back at all? So there's an existence issue which they managed to overcome in a strong way. So a lot of these projects which are halfway through, so they'd like to see some of these key people-centric projects to see them through over the next couple of years, and then also say that we managed to make things happen.
How will this government chug ahead is really the biggest question today, and I'm going to come to CL Manoj with that. And the political messaging, you didn't have the Gandhis come in today, but you had Raj Thackeray come. Mukesh Ambani was there at the swearing-in ceremony. So was Devendra Fadnavis, who came in. So some big faces there. But the fact that the Gandhis skipped, and in terms of national leaders, apart from MK Stalin and I believe Kamal Nath was there, no sort of pan-India opposition support. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there are two reasons. You have compared this swearing in ceremony to earlier the Congress JDS government taking over in Bangalore when almost all the regional parties were there. So that was the partnership between the Congress and JDS. As you know, that Deva Gowda had been part of a third front regional parties club. So there is always a kind of affinity for the regional parties to show that they are all together and all. But here the Congress party and NCP are not having the same relation with many parties, because their relation with the BSP may not be the same, and TDP, Jagan Mohan Reddy. So even within the larger opposition, there are a Congress anchored front and a front which is fighting the BJP and Congress together, whether it is YSR, Congress, or even the regional parties in Haryana, JDU, and all those parties. So therefore, I didn't expect the larger parties to come. Mamata Banerjee, I think she didn't come, though personally she is extremely close to the Thackeray's from the time of Bal Thackeray. But I think she would be waiting to see how this government will play out. She will also look at her own state calculation to think whether she should come on platform one to share a show with Shiv Sena, and also whether she wants to be seen a Congress own victory where she is fighting the Congress in West Bengal. So these opposition parties, the regional parties, are not a united front against BJP. They have their own calculation, they have their own turf conflict, there is competition. Some parties would certainly be very wary of the Congress gaining more foothold, because they had built their front by capturing the turf when the Congress declined. And the Gandhis, as far as they are not coming, I don't know the reason. If it is seen as a confusion, I think that is a meaningless thing, because as I said, this is a government which is, Congress is as much party to this government than NCP and Shiv Sena. They are a signatory to the NCP, they will be sharing the spoils of power, and this is a deal that was cleared ultimately by Sonia Gandhi and the Congress Working Committee. So if they have a worry or a confusion, I think it's a little too late to have it, or maybe they think that Congress is only the third party in this partners. It is an out and out Uddhav Thackeray show, Sharad Pawar show, and therefore they have sent all other big leaders, including some chief ministers.
Big question actually.
I was told
who's,
that maybe
who's
Ahmed
running
Patel
the
is
show?
there. The General Secretary is there.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. Who's running the show? And
this show
this
show in Mumbai will be run.
Yeah, complete your point. Complete your point.
This show in Mumbai, if you look at the way the last 30 years, 30 days event played out, there is no doubt this play and this show will be managed and directed by Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, and the Congress will have to play a supporting role. I think they are quite clear about it. There is no easy option to pull out, just as now it's too late to have a rethinking. I'm sure Congress will enjoy to play even if it's a third party in the
they've
financial
got it in
capital.
bonus.
Congress understands the strategic importance of
the
having
jackpot.
a purse
There are
in
no
Mumbai.
expectations at all. I just want to get in more perspectives. And Shaina and see, great to have you on the show today. What kind of a role as opposition party is the BJP going to play? Are there going to be attempts to do a Karnataka here as well? And I know you might not like to hear that question today, but it's an important one because it tells us how stable this government will be.
So for starters, let me please congratulate the Congress, NCP and Shiv Sena, and I hope they can bring some stability and offer good development to the state of Maharashtra. Now Tamanna, we do know on the 24th when the results came, despite the fact that we are at 105 and the vote was for the Maha Aghadi, which is the BJP and the Shiv Sena, the Shiv Sena said that they have their options open, and obviously we didn't want to horse trade, and at that point Devendra Fadnavis said we are okay sitting in the opposition. The governor obviously gave the options to other parties to prove their majority. They were unable to do so, or maybe they were dilly-dallying or rethinking, as you would want to frame it. We know that precedence rule comes with its own set of disadvantages, And our only agenda when Mr. Ajit Pawar, who came to us and said he has the support of 54 MLAs, was that we have given a honest, non-corrupt government in 5 years, where the agenda has been development for Maharashtra, and of course no communal violence, no terror attacks, and the list is endless. Having said that, when he withdrew his support, immediately our Chief Minister had the courage of conviction to go to the press and say that I am resigning immediately because I don't want to indulge in horse trade or any kind of match fixing.
Today,
I think our role as the opposition is that of a vigilant caretaker.
Yes,
As Pradhan
as it should be. I must say the Fadnavis government got
with absolute commitment.
Yeah,
but
the Fadnavis government had quite an easy time as far as the...
if I can just finish my limited point.
Yeah. No, all I was saying is the Fadnavis government got quite an easy time with the official opposition, which was the NCP and the Congress. Your ally gave you the toughest time.
No, I don't think anybody gave us a tough time. The projects, whether it's Jalyuk Shivar, in pension schemes, insurance schemes, doing away with the middlemen for the farmer, have all been very well received.
Yes.
Better urea, better irrigated land, all of that is for the farmer. But when it comes to infrastructure projects, over 3 lakh crores worth of projects have to be completed, which are half done, some almost completed. And I hope that that does not stop. So we are only hopeful that there is development for the state and the people. And as far as corruption is concerned, obviously it's a non-negotiable as far as we are concerned. That we will be vigilant in the
absolutely.
opposition.
We'll see what kind of an opposition the BJP is. Just on that note, Prime Minister Modi has also tweeted out congratulating Uddhav Thackeray. Saying congratulations to Uddhav Thackeray ji on taking oath as Chief Minister of Maharashtra. I'm confident he will work diligently for the bright future of the state. This is very important and interesting because the Prime Minister had congratulated Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar a few days ago, and then this whole, turn of events back and forth. The question, Madhavan Narayanan, is what happens for the state? We saw earlier already, those posters of Save RA crop up outside Shivaji Park. The Shiv Sena has taken a clear position on the metro shed in RA. The NCP has been saying very clearly, we don't see any point of the Maharashtra government contributing its portion to the bullet train project. Do you see some of these infrastructure projects getting delayed? The Jalyuk Shivar, for example, that China is speaking about, has been criticized by the opposition. It's not necessary that, even though they're talking about farmers, they will push money into that particular project. So we will see that kind of a disruption in governance, won't we?
Yes, I think I haven't had the occasion to look at the fiscal state of Maharashtra, which is very important if you want to really know how the money goes. But all I can tell you is this, that the BJP uses the word development in a manner that has growth written all over it, whereas the NCP and the Congress have historically pursued growth with a social bias. So I would like to think that given limited resources, there will be a reprioritization of infrastructure projects so that anything that smells of pride rather than knock-on effects towards the people might get backpedaled, because somewhere the cloth has to be cut. And therefore, I would expect that something like the holy cows involving farmers or slum dwellers or, local issues may get priority. I don't know much about the RA project because on the one hand, it is painted as an environmentally disastrous, bad for city living. On the other hand, it's a commuting issue, and therefore there are grey areas out there which I think it's an equal risk to go with or against it, and some parties stipulate. But in general, I would expect more of a classic Congress style development as opposed to BJP style development. BJP is very clearly awed by the China model. Congress is not. We have had a history of a welfare state and kind of philosophy, and NCP and Congress are closer to the welfare state philosophy, and Shiv Sena is getting won over to this philosophy given its own roots in city, slum dwellers and all. On the other hand, I think Maharashtra is a huge state. Marathwada
Yeah.
is a arid sort of a place, and you have central Vidarbha, which is
Yeah,
also
you know,
not really full of water.
let me
So
get
there will
Shishir
be a
more,
huge amount
let me
of
get
rural
Shishir for more
emphasis
in on this,
as
because
well.
he's looked at this pretty carefully. And interesting point about the Congress style of development, and I don't know any party though which at this time and age is not talking about farmers. The farmers in Maharashtra have truly seen a horrid situation. First with you know, late rainfall, and then too much rainfall, which has destroyed 2 cycles of crops.
So, you know, there will be a lot of focus by all these parties on the farmers at this point, because that's the most immediate concern that all of them have. Somewhere with Sharad Pawar at the helm here and Uddhav Thackeray, if you see, all the political parties have started making visit to the rural areas.
Yeah.
There hasn't been so much of an influx or outflux of politicians into rural Maharashtra as of recent times. We will see definitely a lot of more outlay for the farmers now. Definitely there will be pressure from the state to the center to sanction much more money at this point. At the same time, I'd like to add to that, you know, development would, so RA is no longer an environment issue now. It's more of an ego issue. So Aditya Thackeray has campaigned for RA. He's been accused at some level on social media of not doing enough. So that's one big challenge of what he sees it. But it's not in his hands now to kind of stall it anyway, because as I believe, most of these development projects, urban projects, are ring fenced. There's not much they can do.
Yeah.
Yes, the metro depot, the depot will get
What about
delayed.
bullet train? Because they've said we don't want to put more of our money in bullet train. But I think the state government's contribution is minimal.
It's 25% is the state government
okay, so that's
contribution.
not minimal.
That's not minimal at
Yeah.
all. 50% is by the center, 25% by Gujarat government, and 25% by Maharashtra.
Yeah.
But that's where I believe that Uddhav Thackeray might leverage a position from the Maharashtra side to say, if you want this to happen, we'd like much more from the center, and we would not want Maharashtra to be cut off like the BJP or anybody at the center wants to do or generally does when it's a non-BJP government in any other
But you know,
state.
I don't know how much you can do that with Maharashtra and with Mumbai. Smita, if you want to just come in on, you know, the key question, and we've talked about the politics of it all, but those watching and most citizens are going to wonder what this level of governance is going to bring. The cohesion of these 3 parties working together, they're going to have 2 committees which will coordinate between them. And are there now different positions that they're taking which could come in the way of governance? Do you see that as a concern?
I don't think so, because I do agree with previous speakers that Uddhav Thackeray, being of a more modest nature than, you know, his father Bal Thackeray, and lacking any governance experience, will look to Sharad Pawar, who has the maximum experience in both in governance as well as in carrying people together. He's a consensual figure, Sharad Pawar, who has you know, so many years of practical politics behind him. He's been a chief minister. So I think that and these 2 coordination committees will ensure that whatever either ideological or programmatic differences there are ironed out behind the scenes, that the other committee will try and look at the sharing of power. But for me, there are 2 other striking images that I want to share. One is, take Mukesh Ambani and his wife, you know, who was Mr. Mukesh Ambani is seen to be very close to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but there he was in the front row of this non-BJP government in the country's wealthiest state. I think that itself was a sign of how corporate interests and political interests can come together by the sheer magic of power. And the second was that while Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and Manmohan Singh did not come, the Congress sent 2 of its chief ministers, Bhupesh Baghel and Kamal Nath, which, if you look at the map of India, suddenly, you know, the central portion right from Chhattisgarh to Maharashtra is no longer with the BJP, which is very significant. You will also recall that after the Karnataka government fell, soon after Mr. Modi returned to power, the BJP leaders were openly talking about Kamal Nath being the next target. Now 6 months on, Mr. Kamal Nath is still there, smiling like a Cheshire cat. He has kept control, and there he was sitting there near Mr. Uddhav Thackeray today. So I think this is also tells you a story of how things may be changing. There
Well,
is
too
therefore,
early to say.
and for Uddhav Thackeray and
Yeah.
the Shiv Sena,
Yeah.
which was losing ground,
Yes,
which was losing
absolutely.
ground in Maharashtra, power is an opportunity to consolidate itself
Yes.
and get itself into a more preeminent position.
Right.
Earlier, it was a
Power is
bigger
an
party
elixir.
than the BJP,
Absolutely.
but over the
I'm
last
running out of time.
so many years that they
apologies
were
for
in
cutting you
alliance.
there, but I'll have to wrap. Power is an elixir, and we'll have to see. How it sort of revives these parties. Does it spill on to a larger effect on the opposition? Jharkhand, Delhi, Bihar, key elections to watch out for in the next couple of years, actually. But for now, the focus is on what governance will be provided to the state of Maharashtra, what policies will be put forth, because remember, at the end of the day, that's what really matters.